All right, it's Monday, 9/20/21. Coming in today, the market is 43.43, down 1.78%, 78.5 points. Pre-market volume is 429,000 over an average of 200,000. The range overnight is 78. So what has happened is the market has broken through its balance and is broken much lower. We're now below the August lows, so we're no longer one-time framing up on the monthly if the month closes below August lows. And the VIX is incredibly elevated. Hasn't been this high since, looks like back May, when we had a little bit of a correction. So coming in today, the goal is to reduce size, allow for wider stops. Typically when the VIX is this high, I'm more focused on ATR breaks because of the volatility, and those tend to run pretty well, but you have to use a wider stop and you have to be prepared to take stops. So we'll see how the day progresses. Adding a bit further to the context, these are indications of volume, previous volume, and currently price is 43.47. So we're trading above this one high volume node, and the overnight low hit just below it. And often what you'll see is the market trading between one area balance to another higher or lower, and that's the whole concept of markets coming into a balance, bouncing around, then breaking balance. And so sometimes these psychological levels like 43.50 will serve as resistance for no real good reason. But to give you a context also of the overnight action, you can see from Friday, the market just continually sold off in a very volatile fashion with the VIX so elevated. And overnight, Sunday, when the market opens, just broke these areas of Friday's 4 or 5 day balance and sold down. So now we're into some support areas that I had marked from, going back into I guess July, maybe June, because we're below August now, and the market is reacting at some of them. So there's a chance that this ATR could break lower and we could go test the overnight low. That's an early morning setup, but I may give this market just some time to set up. I'm not real interested in jumping right in unless I see something. And right now the range, the ATR on the 1 minute is 1.75, which pre-market is pretty high. So we'll see how the morning plays out. One more quick note regarding the overnight. We could have an inventory adjustment because from Friday's action, it seems like the market is predominantly short, if not 100% short. And inventory correction could be reflected as a move back up to the 24-hour VWAP before coming back down to take out this overnight low. So the early morning action will hopefully indicate direction and then resolution in that regard. We'll see how that plays out. So the market is about to open. We're at my ATR level. There's a likelihood it breaks it and possibly goes to get the overnight low. So I'm going to see if this thing breaks for an early morning ATR open break type trade. So it broke very quickly, and I'm just not really feeling comfortable about it at the moment. I'll just give it a minute to see what it's going to do, but the target is much lower. So this is the volatility you have to be prepared to trade if you're going to trade in this market condition. Super high volatility. So obviously that trade would have worked, but I hesitated, and I don't like chasing in this volatility. It'll just get you chopped up. I don't mind waiting, it's not like I have to be in a trade first thing in the morning every time it presents itself. So just going to give the market a little bit of time and see how things develop. All right. So I'm taking this ATR break up for the inventory adjustment. Got long at 43.57.75. And my stop is pretty tight because I don't want to get chopped up first thing this morning. All right, I got my first target. Now my stop auto adjusted, and look how fast this is. It's almost to 5 points. So in markets like this, the question is, how far do you want to let something run, or do you just want to lock in quick scalps because of how volatile it is? So what I'll do is I'll trail stop this. I want to move this, but I'll just take it. Look, I mean, I should probably trail stop that all the way up to this overnight VWAP up here. Locking in profit, it's never a bad thing, but it just seems like the market's so short, you'd get this inventory adjustment straight up before it attempts to get the overnight low down there. So we're at August's low, so that is a pretty good point where the market may want to sell it back down if the market's about to start one-time framing lower. And the gap fill is way up here. I mean, it might even be higher than that. I need to actually look. The gap fill, we're down 58 points. So markets don't always end the day down when they start down. But this market has dropped, a point, 1.31%. So the likelihood of it filling the gap the first day, while not impossible, it's not as likely. So anyway, that trade's over. I'm going to now give the market some time to settle down, and we'll see how it plays out. So the market did make a fairly significant inventory correction, if you want to call it that, up to the VWAP, up through it, or above it, and now back below. I will consider taking this ATR break to come back, retest the open, and then potentially take out the overnight low if it triggers. Otherwise, I'll be looking for a place to potentially get long. If the market decides it's not going to go get the overnight low. So we'll see what happens here shortly. Okay, see if this thing sets up here. Go ahead and get ready here. All right, so we just started a break. I'm going to let the break confirm because the market is so volatile. And the ATR in these 1 minutes is 4.5 points. I don't often see that on a 5-minute bar. And that means average true range of the bar for a set period of time. Usually you'll see that at 1.5, maybe 2. Right now it's 4.5. And as you can see, it's it's volatile, so it's bouncing. Not happening yet. Give it a few more minutes though. All right, coming back down. Starting to get some good indication downward here. Getting a break. Gonna give it just a second to confirm. What time is it? 9:53. All right, so I just took the short there. Entry is 43.58.50. So now my stop needs to be a bit higher, unless we, if we get some real good movement here. 56 is got some contracts coming in, so it just came down to the mid. I can see why they're buying it there. Going to put the stop at 64 for now. That's above this whole area, August low. And I'm just going to give this a minute to play out, see if we can get some movement back down. start defending it here. I don't really want to go all the way up to the top on this, but above that August low. Oh, I got stopped. Okay, so not bad for that setup, but I may need to get long here, because if we close above the open, then the trade will be to get long to break the IB high. So we'll see how that goes. So I think with the volatility, I should have probably entered that trade in more than one part and used a wider stop. I still think we're going to go get the overnight low, but if we close above the open of the market, which is right here, if A period closes above the open, there's about a 90% chance at some point during the day we take out this level up here. So I'm going to be a little more cautious on this next setup and maybe enter in one contract increments, so I don't immediately have to worry about getting stopped out, and I can use a wider stop. Okay, so B opens, and B opens above the open of the market. So stats say by the end of the day we're going to take out the high up here, and I'm not necessarily trading it for that yet, and we're in the mid of the area right now. And I want to give this just a minute. The volatility is almost so extreme. Maybe, I'm starting to think maybe I should sit out the day, but haven't made that as a firm decision yet. We shall see. So B opens. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the play is here, but given this ATR break, I think we're going lower, and then after we take out the overnight low, we could revert all the way back up to the top. So, but as soon as you think it's going lower, it jumps up 2 to 3 points. Very difficult market right here. I don't see anything that convinces me whether to get long or short yet. Well, that does. Okay, we're down below the mid. Yeah, I mean, basically this ATR play would have worked, and what I needed to do was use a wider stop, but every little move down is being met with initiative buying, and it's not exactly easy to tell what's in progress here. So charts are messing up a little bit here for me. Okay, so we just came down and tested the open. So I'm missing this trade apparently, and I don't have a good feel for the situation yet, but it looks like we're going to go take out the overnight low and then possibly go test back up, which would make sense, or we bounce from the open and go back up. But just getting used to the volatility, I messed up, I guess, the ATR trade. I should have taken it in parts, and now I'm not exactly sure, so I'm going to watch this for a minute. All right, so the second 15-minute bar is giving a little more of a push. I'm going to go ahead and get short 2 contracts here. Expectation is we continue down and take out A's low first. Time is 10:17. Entry was 43.49.75. Oh, did not like that. Some initiative buying. Oh, I gotta move that stop up. Okay, so stop needs to be above the open, around 55.75. Okay, so my first target's going to be 3 points. Second target's going to be below A's low, probably 10 points lower. Yeah, right at the overnight low. So I'm going to put it 1 point above the overnight low, and we'll see how this plays out. pretty close to the first target. My algo thing moves that. Oh, I didn't move it. I don't like taking these odd numbers. Oh, that's too bad. Okay, it just hit my stop. So I'm going to re-enter it. If we bounce back up, I'll probably re-enter it. Did not mean to have it move my stop. That is too bad. 1019. It only took me out of one contract, which is fine. It reduced my risk some, so that's nice, but I do want to find a spot to re-enter this. I'm thinking maybe 53. If it comes back up. Just give it one more minute. Yeah. Well, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and re-enter it. This could be a big mistake, but I like my my odds here. I'm still gonna go for the point above the overnight low though. Let me see what my first target is. 45.50. Don't make that mistake again. That's right above A's low, so we'll see in a minute if this is going to work. That stop needs to be higher. As this red line moves down, I'm going to trail the stop. 53. $53.50. Okay, we'll see how this one plays out here. Just pause it for a minute. So one thing that's interesting is I have a buy zone at 43.50 from a long time ago, and you see these contracts setting up right above that. There could be a reaction there. I mean, we haven't even gotten down far enough yet to make a difference, but it's a consideration to close this and wait for these contracts to fill or reject, close the entire position and then re-enter on a bounce up should we not make a straight line down to the overnight low area. I mean, I definitely have some support zones down here that are longer time frame, and this is there's a lot of contract interest here. So the other idea is to take off maybe 2/3 there, trail the rest. And then it is getting jumpy, very jumpy here. But so far in the last hour, the pop-ups have been met with selling. So we'll see if this continues. I'm just going to give this a little more time. Getting pretty close to the fill of the first target on this trade. But not close enough. They may wait for C period to open, run it back up before they bring it back down, or C period could open, take out B's low and A's low. We have 5 minutes before C period opens. Oh boy. Torturous when they get right to your, your target and bounce it. So getting close. All right, so we got a fill on that. Now I'm just going to move my stop here to. This is the toughest part of trading. Where to trail your stinking stop. All right, let's see here. I'm looking for these micro levels to hold. I mean, ultimately, oh, it's going to stop me out. I need to consider if I'm really going to move this or not, or just take $100 on the balance and wait and see. All right, well, that decides for me. Sorry for the indecision there. I mean, it's never easy with these trades, but look at that. You get these initiative buyers right at the lows, right above where that contract interest was, 43, and that's just how the market works. So now I may look for another trade to go break this IB low, or that could be it. That could be it for a little while until they decide if they're going to move to go get the overnight low, which is more likely, and then see if there's more buyers down here. So I'm going to wait for C period to open and see what happens. Okay, so C period opens and we're trading in the middle of B's range, starting to get below B's mid and getting some initiative selling. Not seeing any real high volume involved in selling. Doesn't necessarily mean it won't continue, but it also means that there aren't any buyers coming in to really lift this up like there was on this bar. My expectation continues to be that we at least go test this overnight low area. Question is when and where is an appropriate entry. So you can see the trend down reverse very sharply with these buyers who then exhausted, sellers came back in at the mid, which is, you know, usually a pretty decent spot to take a directional trade if you're gonna pick direction, you know, to go test a level. The volatility is still so high, so if I were to start shorting here, my stop would need to be above C's high, which is 975. So you're talking about 9 points of risk with a reward down near here, which is about 10 points. I'm unsure yet whether I want to take the trade. Now, another idea is to just take the break of A, but we saw what happened the first time, and you know, it's never the first time with the ES futures market. Sometimes the second time will work. I don't have any real support zones here except for this buy zone. And they front ran it and it's a little old, so I don't even know if it's still valid. So just indecision, and you know, we're trading below the mid of the day, below the point of control, below the volume point of control, and it could chop very, very much, or it could break, you know, and I don't have a real good clue on that yet, and I don't like to just jump into these trades without taking an indicator that I've analyzed over time. I've run my own trades on it, my own trading style, so I know what to expect. But that is so close to A's low to take that. I guess I could take it with one contract and then re-enter it with another contract if we come back up. So that may be what I do. Still debating. We'll see what happens. All right, second 15-minute bar has started, and the market is suggesting it's going to move lower. It is suggesting that by pure price direction. So it may be I take this with one contract. Target would be about 41. Yeah, or two contracts. Let's see where these. So we got the buyers down at 43.75. That's where they were before. They're still down there. I don't like to front run these because you see what happens. They may come in, front run it, and wait and do this later. So I'm still watching. Still watching. I am going to use a 12 bracket though on this. Try to get some off pretty quick. This market's so volatile. All right, so we did get a break here. I'm not going to take it on the first bar. I want to see if we pop up a little bit. You can see the intensity slowed down, but in the ATR shrunk some, which is good. So maybe I don't have to worry about getting too much risk on too early. So 43.50 would be the first area I would like to short it if it'll move up there. If not, then I'm just going to have to take it here and see how it moves after I enter. I also have a call at 11, so won't be able to babysit this as well. Okay, so back up to 43.50. That was a quick reaction. I mean, I'm moving way too slow for this market right now. I should have had the order in there, so that probably was, well, I mean, that was a mistake. All right, I don't want to chase it though. See if we get another little initiation. Okay, so I'm long, I'm short, long. I'm short there. My stop has got to be, whoa, it's so fast I can almost not move my stop in time. 54.50. I'm going to enter one more up here with a 6 bracket at 56. If I need to, and that would be my last entry on this. And then my stop needs to be about 61. Well, 56, 58, about 58, I think. Okay, I'll give this just a minute. Okay, so we got one target. I don't know where that was actually. It happened so fast I wasn't paying attention. Maybe it was my target. Let's see. Yeah, so I made $100 on the first target. So now, gotta figure out what I want to do with the second contract here, and whether I want to keep that in play. I may just scalp this thing for now. Yeah, all right, so I'm out. I have this call coming up, so I'm not interested in holding on to this thing and babysitting it, unfortunately. So we'll see what happens in a little bit. All right, so I was a little slow about getting this recorded, but I decided to enter a short here. Might be too premature on this trade. Yep, it is. Darn it. Let me see if I really want to do this. Darn. That was not a good trade. 51 would be the stop. Or 50-50. Okay, so I got a little bit of a FOMO reaction there. It's okay. So first target on this ATR break, I've got it at 43.50. So that's above D's low. I mean, the target is the overnight low, so we're just going to give it a chance to fulfill that. I also have an extended target below that, all the way down at 26. Well, I think what I'm going to try to do here is trail the stop for a 10-point target if it goes, if it even goes. And we'll see. I could get stopped out and end up a loser on the day on this trade, since it's not exactly an innovator trade because I did get an ATR break. But what I should have done is waited, given it a bar, see if we go back up, retest the moving average, and just bounce around. So the other alternative is, instead of using a stop here, is to enter one more contract. Hasn't really been paying attention to this moving average yet. It's more like you get initiative buying and they sell it down. So not too sure what I want to do on this trade. If I want to go, this is basically would put me down about $200 on the day. May just leave it at that for now and see what happens. If I lose, end up down 200 on the day on this failed ATR breakout, it's not the end of the day. And if I get some extension, then who knows, could get lucky. So I'm going to pause this here and we'll give it a minute. So I have a 5-minute rule when it comes to trades. It needs to start moving in 5 minutes, and we just hit the 5-minute mark. All right, I'm going to be aggressive with this trail stop. I know it's too aggressive, but if it doesn't move here, it could bounce at the lows of the day. Well, it could bounce right now. All right, that's fine. I'm frustrating. Well, it may go right now, but I was not comfortable with the trade, obviously. Maybe one contract is the way to go and add higher if it comes back up. Might be done for the day here. We shall see. All right, coming into the second 15-minute bar of E period. And most likely this is the spot. So the short here would be, anywhere right here. 43 with a stop above A's low, around 44, 45. So I'm thinking I might take this, but I haven't decided quite yet. The second 15-minute bar hasn't actually started. All right, there it is. See if we get the push down, take out the low. All right, I'm gonna try one target. First target is above the overnight low. And stop, 44, 45. And I've got it at 45.50. So I'm gonna use a tight stop initially, $200. Won't go negative on the day. And then see if we get the extension if this works. So entered that trade at 11.45. Let's see if they keep buying it down near the bottom, if they eventually let it go get that overnight low. Not going for too much on the first target here. And a lot of buyers down here, all the way down. All right, this is favorable. Some favorable price movement, as long as they don't front run it again, run it all the way back up. Yeah, you never know with these, this type of trade, I would consider this an innovator trade because of how I entered it, where I entered it. The target is the overnight low, so there's nothing wrong with that. But your entry point, I don't have it modeled, so I don't really know what to expect out of it. And now we're getting initiative buying. Yep. Never the first time in the ES. It's never the first time. They always take 2 to 3 times to reach the target. So you have to be patient. You have to just, acknowledge your risk is $200. You're up 264. You won't go negative on the day, but it's not like you're going to make any money to write home about. There is a a very high probability that we hit this target, and we're very close to it. But when the volatility in the ATRs are as high as they are today, you just never know. I mean, you really don't know until it happens. You can just assume the probabilities are in your favor, and that gives me a little more comfort on the trade, but it doesn't really matter. It's got to hit the target. And I mean, I could bring this thing down, I could trail it down. All those types of factors come into play. And we'll just have to give it a minute here. It's 11:47. I think I've been in the trade almost 5 minutes. Nope. So they keep front running it, and that to me suggests it's not going to work. So I could close it right now, lock in the profit that I've got on the day, and see what happens as we come back up and hit my stop, which is what it looks like it's trying to do. 45 is my stop. Yep, so I'm out. All right. Total profit 85.70 on the day. I'm probably going to call it quits right here. Just as a follow-up to where I just got stopped. Now, what I should have done is re-entered one more contract here, had the stop appropriately above the ATR. It's mistakes, technical mistakes like this that, make the difference between a big day and either a losing day or a not so big day. So it would have hit my target, and I think they just got the overnight low, maybe. Let me see what the low was here. One tick above it, so they're about to get it. And one tick above it is not going to hold right now in this market context. So it's tricky trading the ES, and then we get the big break. It's just tricky, and I could get upset, I could lose my cool, I could go on a revenge trade situation, but I'm just not going to do it because the market will be open tomorrow. All my real targets, my high probability targets, are done for the day. I cannot get off my plan and execute more trades today, even though it may hurt only making $85 when I should be up, close to 800. But it's my fault. Obviously, my trade execution on my ATR style of trading in this volatility was poor. And it's because we haven't had this kind of volatility in months, and I'm not used to it after having been away from it for so long. Now, there are tons of other trades today. I mean, the market is just full of opportunities, and there are other setups, but I'm going to stick to my plan today, and we'll try it again tomorrow. So what I want to do very quickly is a quick review of the day. Market open, it broke this ATR. It was too fast for me to take. I don't mind missing that. And then on the re-break, I did take that trade, locked it in. That was the only thing I've done correctly today. Then the second trade comes in with another ATR break close to when B opens. Now, when B opens above the opening of the market, there's a greater than 90% chance by the end of the day we take out A's high. So I wasn't really jumping on board with this trade. However, I do have one overriding trade that ATR rules supersede all of my other trading rules. And so at the appropriate time, I could have gotten on board on this ATR trade. Now, when is that? I mean, probably when we come back through the mid, with the idea that you would re-enter above this range, and it should have only been one contract. The other idea is to enter at the red line and re-enter near the top. Again, only one contract. And then the target is A's low or 10 points, which that would have easily given you. So I definitely messed that up. I did take a trade, but it wasn't a good one, wasn't great. Then I got stuck on this call at 11 o'clock for the break of the IB. Again, it would have been difficult, but the right trade would have been to enter at this moving average, maybe enter one more contract just below the ATR top, with the stop at the mid, just above the ATR. for a break of A's low, the IB low, and that would have worked fine. Although you wouldn't have gotten any extension to the overnight low, and that's okay. When Europe now closes at 11:30, we see with this break of the ATR, and this is another one. Take it with one contract. If it comes up, and the goal is the overnight low, if it comes up to the red line, re-enter with another contract, first target, and now go for extension, trail the stop using the ATR. And I used to do this when the market was very volatile, close to when the pandemic started, and I've just gotten out of the mindset and the habit of doing it. This would have been the first target on that trade, that or 20 points really from entry. So going into tomorrow, I'll try to review some of my older trades, some of my older setups to try to get a better plan that's going to let me capture a little bit more of the market. And it's noon. I'm done for the day, and I appreciate y'all watching. Thank you.